crimes Minnesota will never forget.
They may not be stories you want to remember, but they remain part of our history. History that helped shape and mold our justice system, how we raise our children, even how we see the world. In a three-part series of special reports only on KTTC, our Barrett Leone takes a look back at some of the state's most notorious killers and their crimes. Tonight, we start with a violent quadruple homicide. It happened right here in Rochester more than 33 years ago. Our Barrett Leone joins us in our studio, and she investigates the Brom murders. Barrett.
Well, Tom, Caitlin, when you think of notorious Minnesota crimes, the Brom murders are at the top of the list. For the first time, KTTC spoke with a close family friend of the Broms. If you've lived in Rochester long enough, you've heard the name.
This is him on his way to prison. This is the last time Rochester saw him.
Brom. You've probably read the headlines.
5 lives that are gone. I mean, they're literally gone.
Remember the reports.
The question Olmsted County authorities must decide now is whether to charge David Brom as a juvenile or as an adult.
And watch the Brom family murder story play out on national television.
Good evening. Topping tonight's News 11. Police charge a 16-year-old boy with 4 counts of first-degree murder after his family is found axed to death in their Rochester home.
Patty Price lived it.
It was a crazy, awful experience.
In the middle of the night on February 18th, 1988, 16-year-old David Brom killed 4 of his family members. His parents, Bernard and Paulette, and younger siblings, 14-year-old Diane and 9-year-old Rick, all murdered with an axe.
I had only just been to their house for a sleepover the weekend before.
Price, an 8th grader at the time, remembers it vividly. Diane was her best friend.
I remember the day that she didn't show up. It was a Thursday, and she didn't show up that day, and I didn't really think that much of it.
She remembers her mother breaking the news to her that night.
I don't know how to tell you this, but Diane is dead. My life kind of was before that moment, and then after that moment, from that point on.
The next day, Price went to school alongside her classmates in a fog, even cleaning out Diane's desk with another friend.
I was convinced 100% that David was out. He had walked in on the murders and fled.
Before David turned himself in that Friday.
Even at that point, I was like, somebody's got a gun to his head. He was like a brother to me. I mean, he was nicer than my brothers, to be honest.
David was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder. Shock and grief saturated the Rochester community.
This is obviously the shock phase. It's beginning to set in.
It's just, a shock to the whole community. Everyone's talking about it, wondering why.
Come Monday, St. Pius bused students to the funeral.
I remember we had to sit with our class, and there were 4 caskets brought in, of course all closed. All that I could think of what was on the inside of those caskets. What did the bodies look like? And it was just trauma after trauma, and no help to be found.
Olmsted County Sheriff Kevin Togerson was one of the first responding deputies on scene.
I got up maybe 4, 5, 6 steps, and then I could see 2 sets of feet laying at the top of the steps.
30 years later, in 2018, he spoke with KTTC about the day.
When this happened to the Brom family, there was a very heightened response and involvement, and there was a lot of things going on. The schools were more involved, the school counselors were more involved, trying to help and support families and things like that.
But Price remembers that time in her life differently.
And I remember really people telling us not to talk about it.
It took her until her mid-30s before she felt she could talk about the tragedy publicly.
From age 13, when the murders happened, till age 32, was massively shaped by the murders.
All these years later, she says she's never once blamed David.
Have never had anything but compassion for him and wondered what the reason was. I have written to him a couple times over the years, probably about 6 times.
David is now 49 years old at the Minnesota Correctional Facility in Stillwater, and the motive behind his crimes is something he's never revealed.
I think everybody involved with that case asks themselves that question, and I have no answer.
But Price has her own ideas.
Well, I have all sorts of theories on what was happening with David, having to do with priests, to be honest. But David has never been willing to talk about it. He talks about how much he misses his family. He talks about how, You know, he really regrets snapping the way he did, and he talks about how much they loved him, and he very much misses them.
Price is an advocate for mental health and a practicing psychologist here in Rochester. She says if it wasn't for the Brom murders, she wouldn't be as compassionate or even in the same field she's in. She hopes to get the courage to visit David at the Stillwater facility someday. If you'd like to hear more of her interview, head to KTTC.com. And I'll continue our 3-part series tomorrow night looking into a case that haunts parents to this day. Join me tomorrow at 10 for the Jacob Wetterling case and how it has changed missing children cases today.